Okay guys, so welcome to the PC build finally. I've been wanting to get this out for quite a while. Now I was going to make a video for this, but it just seemed an easier option to take pictures of screenshots of the build as I was doing it, because I would have got in the way of the camera whilst recording the PC build, and also my brother helped me build the PC. And we would have both got in the way basically, so it's just much easier to take pictures for you guys and put it into like this video and basically do a voiceover through the pictures explaining what we actually did and the step-by-step procedures, etc. So yeah guys, without further ado, we shall get into this video. But just to let you know, just beforehand, me and my brother have no experience whatsoever in building PCs. And this one turned out fine, it works fine, it's mint, it's a really good PC, I'm loving it at the moment. So yeah, without further ado, let's move on. So first picture we're looking at is the box that the case come in. It's the NZXT H440 Razer Special Edition. I really like this case because I love Razer products. I like the green and black theme that Razer have going on. So I chose this, that's why I chose this case. You can get other variations of it, like there's just an NZXT H440. I think it comes in like red, black, blue maybe, and white I think. There's a few other variations that you can actually get, but like I said, I went for the Razer Special Edition. So that's the first picture we're looking at. Next picture, moving on, is some specifications of the H440. Now if you want to, you can pause the video to look at these specifications that I took a picture of on the side of the box. It's got quite good specs. You can fit quite a lot in it. I think it accepts most motherboards. I'm using an ATX motherboard, and if I sound like I've got a bit of a cold at the moment, it's because of my hay fever, and I think I've got a little bit of a cold as well, so I'm sorry for that. I apologise for me sounding a bit groggy and horrible, but anyway, we're going to get on with this video. So it's specifications. Pause the video to check those out. Moving on, we have the side of the case with the side panel taken off, so you can see just inside a little bit. We also have some user manuals and an NZXT box, which contains some screws and the little mounts that the motherboard sits on, etc. It also comes with a nice little NZXT sticker that I stuck on top of the case. So that's that picture. Moving on to the next one, we have some ports on top. So we have the headphone jack, a microphone jack, two USB 3.0s, which I do like because they're in green to match in with the theme of the Razer NZXT H440. Basically because USBs usually come in the colour blue, but obviously blue, black and green wouldn't really match, so they made them green, which matches awesomely to the case. Next to that, we have the USB 2.0 ports. We've got two of those on top as well. And then we move on to the next picture. The next picture is with all sides and front taken off. So we've taken both sides off, the front off and the top. In the top of the case, you can see you've got room for 3 additional fans. You've got one fan that comes included with the case on the back, and you've also got 3 fans in the front of the case that are included when you purchase this case. And as you can see down the bottom, just about, you can see a little Razer logo that also illuminates when the PC is on. Moving on to the next picture is the other side of the case. So basically I've turned the case around. That's where your cable management would sit, and also your hard drive bays, they all sit in there as well. And you've got a massive gap down the bottom where you can tuck all the big nasty power supply cables, because obviously the power supply goes down the bottom. So that's that side. Also, actually, just to mention this, to point this out, if you can see in the sort of middle of the picture, there's a little fan adapter, so you can plug, I think it's up to like 8 fans on the back of that. So you don't have wires coming all off your motherboard and stuff and dangling around. Even with like the best cable management, you wouldn't be able to hide like loads of little nasty fan cables. So they've nicely like included on the back of this case the fan adapter, so you can, like, obviously, like I said, plug fans into those. Up to 8 of them. 4 of them, sorry, are already taken up, because the 3 that they include at the front are the one at the back. So you do have another 4 spaces you can add additional fans to. etc. But that's that, just a nice little feature that I wanted to point out to you guys. Next, we're moving on to the back of the case. As you can see, that NZXT fan that's included just on the back there. You've also got your I/O port, well, I/O hole where the plate would go once we fit in it. Down the bottom, you've got your power supply where that goes, and then you've got some expansion bays, I think they're called, or PCI slots, I can't really remember. On the back of the case, which you can remove, obviously, to protrude your graphics card, etc., and so on. So, moving on to the next picture, we have my motherboard and my CPU. So the motherboard I went for is the Sabertooth, the ASUS Sabertooth 990 FX R2.0. Excuse me. Yeah, and my what's it called? Processor. I went for the AMD FX. I think it's the 8350. I'll double check that. If not, I'll post on screen and correct what it actually is. But I believe it's the 8350. I went for those two purely because when I was looking around, they suited each other quite well. So yeah, just moving on to the next picture, we have the inside flap of the motherboard. So there's some specifications on there. I don't know if you can see them, but you should be able to. So pause the video if you wanted to read any of that business. Moving on swiftly, we have a picture of the motherboard itself. Now, as you can see, it's not green and black themed, which I would have liked, but it's pretty good. It's got military spec components on it, so that's all good. It's built to last, obviously. So that's the motherboard itself. Moving on, we have the next one. We have a picture of my motherboard and my RAM. Bear in mind now, the RAM has changed purely because I bought that one stick of RAM and I believed it was 8 gigs and it's not. It was 4 GB of RAM, so I had to purchase 8 GB of RAM. So now I've got two. Again, I've got a Corsair Vengeance, but it looks a little bit different from that one, and I've also got 2 sticks. So I bought that after the build was complete, so excuse that. When you see the RAM being put in and whatnot, it's actually different RAM in there now. So there you go. The next picture is the RAM actually inserted. I did run it for a day with that RAM, and it ran perfectly fine. But like I said, I wanted to exchange it for 8 GB RAM, so I did take that one out, and I now have 2 sticks of Corsair Vengeance 8 GB RAM. Moving on next, we have a picture of the motherboard in the background with the H100i from Corsair. This is my water-cooled sort of all-in-one CPU cooler. I love this one because you can change the color on the cooler itself, the bit that attaches to the motherboard and sits over the CPU. You can change that color to loads of different colors within the Corsair Link settings, and yeah, so I obviously changed mine to green to match my theme, which is awesome. So moving on, you can see how we attached the CPU cooler to the CPU. So the H100 is just standing there with the radiator and the fans. Well, the actual cooler is sat over the CPU. Moving on. Oh, by the way, just to point out as well, we had to take the RAM out to fit the cooler. So obviously the first picture had the RAM in, this picture has the RAM out. So we took it out, installed the cooler, and then we put it back in. So next picture we're moving on to is the motherboard mounted inside the case and the radiator mounted to the top of the case, as you can see. So we routed all the wires, not the wires, the tubes, just so they bend around so it doesn't cover the CPU cooler, so you can actually see the Corsair light, which is awesome. There's quite a lot of clearance in this case, so I was quite proud of that. So as you can see, motherboard inside the case with the cooler attached. And next up, we shall look at the SSD. If you could just see that just down the bottom of the case, there's 2 SSD mounts. I think they're 2.5-inch drives. So you can see I've got a 120 GB Samsung SSD down there. which is mounted very nicely. Next on, that's like the only picture, the only thing to do with that. So the next picture is with the opposite side back on. I've got a tough inside, the Ultimate Force tough inside sticker that came with my motherboard, so I've installed that on the side of there just because it looks nice. And I think that about wraps it up. I'll just post this picture quickly. My setup has moved. I also installed 2 green cathodes inside the case. Also, this picture has my graphics card inserted as well. But my setup has changed. This was just a quick picture that I took once it is all set up and lit up and looking good. So yeah, I will post a picture soon, or maybe at the end of this video actually, of the whole setup as it is. And then you'll obviously see how the PC looks off to the side on my desk, and it looks absolutely awesome. I love it. It's a really good PC, and yeah, I'm really proud of myself and my brothers for putting it together with no knowledge of building PCs. And yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in my very next video. Peace out, guys.